I don't have an idea for a video. I don't have an idea for a video. Like fucking shit, what do I do? Like I was gonna make this video. I was gonna make a video, right, where I put a bunch of, what are they called? The fucking scrunchies in my hair. And then I put a pillow in my shirt and I'm like, I'm trans now. Let's see what scholarships I can get. But I can't do that without going on my college's website, and I don't want to dox myself. Can't, like, I'm planning on eventually shaving my head bald and recording a video like that. Like, I'm out of ideas. I really am. Maybe I should just, like, fucking take a bite out of a bar of deodorant or something. But that's been done. It's fucking lame. There's no shock value in that shit anymore. Fucking gay. It's fucking gay. Like, I fucking wish I was gay. Jesus fucking Christ. Let's just have a little talk time with Cream Man, right? Let's just have a little talk time. You know, let's have a little talk time with Cream Man, right? I think that's commentary. It'll be a commentary channel. What are you gonna talk about today? That's a good topic. What's a good topic? Let's talk about how shitty fucking Skyrim is. How Skyrim's a fucking piece of shit game. Okay. Okay. We're gonna talk about. We can start with Skyrim. We'll talk about the broken promises of Todd Howard. He promised this dynamic fucking economy, where like a complex mercantile system. He promised like super fucking dynamic interactions with NPCs. He showed a gimmicky. Bethesda showed a fucking gimmicky fucking once in 1,000 years event where a dragon picks up and kills a giant rather. Shit doesn't really happen in game very often, and they use it as an example of saying this is just one thing that can happen. Really, there's like that's the only thing even comparable to that. There's almost no unique animations in between types of enemies, different types of NPCs. They're extremely rare. I understand why they're expensive. Animation's expensive to make. Don't get me wrong, but it's fucking false advertising as fuck. Obviously, there's the basic shit where they're going to show higher quality picture in a fucking trailer, right? But that's a given. Like as a consumer, you expect that. But now we can actually let's talk about the technical stuff where Bethesda literally crashes. Bethesda games literally crash more than I think any other mainstream AAA developers games do. And this even extends to a game I like New Vegas, where they use the same engine. The Gamebryo engine is just fucking garbage. It's unstable garbage from the fucking 90s, and they need to fucking update it. They need to just throw it out completely. They can't. They've tried fixing it. They got it fucking half working on in Fallout 4, but it can't last another. It's not gonna last another fucking 3 years. If we look at the fucking the cycle of the games that are coming out, it's dead. Bethesda needs to fucking cut their losses and ditch it. It's fucking garbage, and they need to ditch it because I don't like how in every fucking Bethesda game, and any game with the Gamebryo engine, this goes even back to Morrowind, how fucking unstable the gameplay is. How fucking much it crashes and how many engine issues you have to get. And just to get a fucking game running. Morrowind actually doesn't have this issue, where just to get the fucking game running properly, you need to mod the shit out of it unless you're on console. Yeah, that's another thing. Bethesda makes open world RPGs for a console audience primarily. I guess that makes sense considering they're casual fucking low depth RPGs with like compared to the rest of Western RPGs, which Western RPGs look at. I mean, you can even just look at BioWare. BioWare obviously isn't. They're not like the fucking philosophical jerk yourself off types like Obsidian are, which I like the philosophical jerk yourself off types, right? I enjoyed that shit. But they're a little bit more lowbrow, you know. They're a little bit more lowbrow. That really really cool mechanics, great games, amazing games, that they've put out in the past. But when it comes to like, they're not like philosophy, fucking jerk yourself off heavy, right? Like that's the bar they need to live up to. That's the bar they need to live up to. They can't even live up to fucking Mass Effect Andromeda. Skyrim is everyone likes to shit on fucking Mass Effect Andromeda. Mass Effect Andromeda was at least like, it wasn't even meant to be a real RPG. It was meant to be a fucking action game with fucking RPG elements, but it's more of a fucking RPG than Skyrim is. Skyrim, you're not role playing. You're really not. There's like 3 choices in the game other than the main mission, and the choices in the main mission is basically, do you want to go do you want to choose one of 2 factions that don't change the actual outcome besides the named NPCs? Because there's very little actual ideology of either group, and you don't really know what the outcome of either group is going to be. You don't get telegraphed like you do in a better RPG what effects your choices will have, that individual choice, that one choice will have on the greater story, and all the other choices throughout the game, whether or not you want to betray somebody for a Daedric Lord. None of that has any higher consequences either, besides that you get access to this relic. There's really no reason ever to not do what the Daedric Lord wants you to do, because they're all throwaway NPCs that use trade. And I know the one that you need to sacrifice a companion, but literally all the companions but 2 are also throwaway NPCs, and that's Lydia and fucking Ayla the Huntress. They're the only 2 NPCs that aren't throwaway, and even then they're not really fleshed out fucking at all. They're really 2-dimensional and shallow characters with very little substance to them. That's a problem with Bethesda in general, though, with companions. Bethesda does not do well with companions at all. Their best companion, at least in my opinion, is Fox, just because in Fallout 3, Fox isn't pretending to be something he's not. He's a super mutant who likes to fucking kill things. Simple character, easy. You don't feel like you're missing something. I say another one of their favorite, the better Bethesda companions is Sharon, or Sharon, right? Sharon, that's his name. Fallout 3. He doesn't say much. That's part of his character. He doesn't talk much. When it comes to characters that are gonna get into their backstory and dialogue and talk about shit, they can't fucking do it because they can't fucking write characters for the life of them. The best Bethesda character, in my opinion, character, not companion, character, is Parthenax. At least since Morrowind. It's Parthenax. Parthenax is actually a good character. Unfortunately, he doesn't do shit in the game. He's other than his dialogue, which is actually interesting and makes you think and makes you consider the morality, and you have a debate with him and a constructive conversation where your character and you as a player get something out of it. He's not actually important to the plot despite that, which seems like a real fucking letdown from Bethesda. Yeah, I don't know. Fallout 3. Fallout 3, I feel like was the last Bethesda game that tried to be an RPG. I don't think it always succeeded, but it tried. It tried really hard. The problem with Bethesda games in general is that they feel really empty once you've beaten them the first time. The first playthrough of a Bethesda game, it's good. It's a good game usually. You feel it, but once you beat a game and you can feel how little there actually was, and how most of the content in Fallout 3 is in the walk in between interesting locations, and even then the interesting locations are so spread apart from one another that there's very little interesting locations. It's not completely combat based. So like I really like the Republic of Dave. I think that was really well done by Bethesda. I'm not gonna shit on everything they do. I really like the Republic of Dave. That was really memorable. Three Dog was memorable, even if I think he wasn't done well. But at least he was memorable and interesting. You have the Antagonizer and the Mechanist, which, like, that's, once again, it's memorable, but it's not deep. It's just cartoony. It's just, I don't know. It's just like, here's a funny idea oh, that is a funny idea. Let's add it to the game. And then they very, very rarely flesh out character motivations for these things. Maybe at most they'll have like a terminal that says X character got abused or robbed or something, and that's why they're a bad guy now. Or maybe they were an orphan, and that's why they're a bad guy now. Or like anything like that. Like there's almost no bad guy. I don't think there's any character in a modern Bethesda game that does things that are considered morally reprehensible for justifiable reasons, at least to them. If you look at Fallout 3's the main quest, you look at the water chip. The whole water chip quest, it's all hinged on this idea that the Enclave want to turn on they want to turn on Project Purity. I know you're gonna say no though. The Brotherhood, you're misspoke. No, what did the Enclave want from Project Purity? Colonel Autumn didn't want to put the FEV virus in it. He didn't want to kill. Well, was it putting the FEV virus? He wanted to kill people with the FEV virus. That's what the president wanted. That's not what Colonel Autumn wanted to do. Colonel Autumn wanted to turn on the Project Purity. He wanted to turn it on. Why did he kill people? Why did he kill the scientists? Like, why? It doesn't make any sense. There's no motivation. He literally just does bad shit because he's the bad guy. He has no reason to do anything. None of it's explained. Oh, and can I also say, speaking of the main quest in Fallout 3, that this theme that Bethesda's doing in Fallout games, where they take away a family member from you, and they say, this is your motivation to go out in the wasteland. You gotta save your family member. That's fucking bullshit, because half the fucking game, the majority of the fucking game, if you're playing it like the majority of people who play Bethesda games, you're not actually looking for them. You're doing crazy, wacky stuff, and it's completely off your mind. And you only get to the main quest when you're out of side quests to do. So you're thinking, man, well, I'm out of little things to do. It looks like I'm unfortunately gonna have to go find my dad. This is the last thing I want to do. That's literally the like you're trying to create a linear experience, right? In a sense, when it comes to the main story, because you're trying to railroad the player into having a motivation. You're trying to give the player a motivation, and then the game world itself and what you put in the game runs contradictory to that very motivation you're giving the character. It's fucking bad design is what it is. It really is. The same thing goes for Fallout 4. You're looking for your son. Oh, looking for our son. Better build a fucking settlement. Oh man, yeah, that helps. Oh, better fucking go to a robot factory or whatever and fucking whatever. It's just fucking stupid. You spend the entire game not going to the goal that was set out by the developers. And the goal is an urgent goal. But from at least it gets portrayed that way in the dialogue and acting. When it comes to Fallout 4, the acting, it gives you a sense of like fear and like the characters rushing, but it doesn't match the player experience at all. It runs contrary to player experience. That's shit design. I don't care how much you like Bethesda games, because when I was younger, the first Fallout game I played was Fallout 3. I think a lot of people feel the same way, that Fallout 3 is an important game. I don't think it's a good game though. It introduced me to the series, it introduced many people to the series. I think it's important. It was important for RPGs in general, but it's not that good. It's not that good of a game. It has shitty gunplay, really shallow RPG mechanics compared to the predecessors in its franchise. A really big lack of depth. It got rid of speech checks and replaced it with random chance, which I guess that's not deviating from RPGs altogether, but that takes away a lot of like planning and leaves it up to a random chance. And like percentage speech checks, you can just quick save and quick load over and over again until you get what you want. It's not good. It's not fucking good. I fucking hate Bethesda's systems when it comes to fucking incorporating RPG mechanics into gameplay. Obsidian. I have to suck off Obsidian some more. Fallout New Vegas' speech check system and their dialogue system with the fucking skill checks in chat and in your speech fields. That's fucking golden, okay? It's fucking golden, and it's not. It was in no way unattainable by Bethesda in Fallout 4. It was because they fucking made it not an RPG anymore. Fallout 4 is not an RPG in any sense of the word. It doesn't even have RPG mechanics. Unless you consider the idea, the abstract concept of giving your character a certain set of stats, and then unlocking perks and what an RPG is. I don't. I think, at least in my opinion, at least Skyrim. Skyrim had things that your character could do with certain skills. They like, even though they were insulated within themselves, you could actually do things like you could craft your weapons and armor and fucking do all this crazy cool shit. And oh man, like I crafted a fucking and improved this fucking sword, or I have these rings now. I do all these cool things, and oh man, I level up my combat skills, and I grind it out, and then I have this perk system. I think it's like a grindy RPG, right? It's like it's kind of like RuneScape in a way, where you can grind out stats to become more proficient in certain categories. Fallout 4 has no rhyme or reason. You level up. You don't level up individual stats. You level up, and you put a point into one of these 8 categories, right? And then you take the category, and then you take each category has like a layout of each perk you can get in each one. And that I like in a technical sense, I guess that could be called an RPG RPG mechanic, right? But how is that like character building? Because every single character can have the same exact layout of perks. Every single character can unlock every single perk, max out every single skill. There's no possible way you can play the game for X amount of time until you unlock everything, unless you literally like save craps or something. If you play a long enough time at Fallout 4, you can unlock every single skill and every single perk. How is that role playing? How is that playing a character? That's just crossing off fucking check marks to get new skills. That's in a literal sense, it is considered by many to be an RPG mechanic. But how is that role playing? How is that playing a character? There is no character. Oh god, I need a glass of water. I'll be back. Okay. So okay, so conspicuously absent from the discussion is Obsidian, not Obsidian, Oblivion. Oblivion's an iffy one. I feel like Oblivion has some redeeming qualities, and it's hard for me to put my finger on them. But I think the reason why I think the redeeming qualities from Oblivion are the fact that it's it's a kind of a mess. But it's a nice mess. It's like if you ever played I Divine Cybermancy, where it's kind of freeform and messy and unpolished. That's what I like about Oblivion. Is it's unpolished. It doesn't feel like a AAA game, but it has the size and scope of a AAA game. It doesn't have the polished veneer over it like other AAA games do, and I really like that in games. I really don't like this. Same thing happens in movies too, but Um, in the last couple years, uh, media in general has had this like fucking varnish over it, and it's all this clean, sterile, fucking perfect, flawless, insulated fucking garbage where there's no humanity. It's all this robotic, inhuman, cold fucking bullshit. And I think you look at the Hateful Eight, the movie by Tarantino, right? That was shot on physical film. Even that shot on physical film had the same issue for me. So I don't know if I don't think the issue is the digital age. I don't think the issue is like digital film, or because I think the same issue happens with video games too. Because video games have always been digital. I think the thing is the issue has become this this standardization of everything, of all products, right? Where everything has to fit into this neat little category. Everything is a minimalist look or X look, and it's all these neat little categories of with no individuality. And it's all this conformist crap, because Hollywood and the game industry are both just fucking conformist shitholes now, and conformism is fucking modern. What they're conforming to is this clean, sterile version of reality, and the art's supposed to portray reality, but it's not portraying reality. It's portraying the reality through the eyes of the fucking director or the designers of the game, or the director of the movie, and their vision isn't being their vision. It doesn't feel like a person's vision. It feels like a studio's vision. You look at the newest Star Wars movie, you see these very. I mean, I don't want to 100% shit on them because, like, once again, they're impressive to look at, but you see these like stunning shots of solid color and like clean, sterile environments and backgrounds with the elite guards or whatever. The red elite guards on a red background, and it looks very visually stunning, and it's pleasant to look at, but it's also missing that grit. Like, it's supposed to be a gritty, dark scene, and it looks like a fucking art exhibit in fucking Paris or something. It looks, it doesn't fit. There's no edge anymore. There's no grit. Everything's clean and sterile. If you look at watch a movie like fucking Goodfellas, and you'll see every fucking set, every scene is messy and dirty and human and gritty and edgy, and it's real. You get real humanity out of it. And to bring it back to Oblivion and Bethesda in general, you look at fucking Skyrim. Skyrim, the only thing that's not to say it's a polished game, but it's just a clean, streamlined fucking mess. It's a streamlined, basic bitch game, and so is Fallout 4. There's no depth. There's no fucking, as some people would say, there's no like stank to it. You know, there's nothing there besides the product as it stands. There's nothing deeper there. It just a fucking mess. It doesn't feel like humans made it. It feels like a fucking corporation made it. And I can't stand that shit. The only signs of humanity you see in Bethesda games after Fallout 3 are little fucking Easter eggs here and there of like, oh man, this is like a domino effect or something with physics props. Man, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, you know? That's pretty cool. Oh man, dominoes with physics props. Damn, Bethesda, really fucking, creativity. You can look at New Vegas, for example. And New Vegas had this issue a little bit, but in New Vegas, like, you feel like maybe it's just because the NPCs are fleshed out a lot more in New Vegas, but it feels like you're actually interacting with characters, and there's a you're in a mess, and even just I'll let me hold that thought. Okay, let's look at mechanics, right? In the stat system, where you can basically make almost any weapon in the game viable and work if you put the right stats into it and balance your right perks into it and balance your stats properly. Like, you can make almost anything work. You can make a BB gun work. Like, that's interesting. That's fun. That's cool. I like that shit. That's the good shit. I want to play a character. I want to play my character. I don't want to play a predefined fucking character some other studio made. Some uninspired fucking hack made that fucking wanted to cash in on the biggest possible market share as they possibly could. At least fucking Skyrim, you could choose your race and do a little bit of fucking like if you put Khajiit and Argonian, at least had some fucking flavor they brought to the game. Not so in Fallout 4, where there's basically nothing. There's no deviation you can have. There's none. There's no deviation. They've gone... The next fucking game, you won't even have a fucking character creation menu. It'll be... and no skills. You'll just fucking... It'll just be a first-person shooter with an open world, and you can loot shit. And they'll say, this is a great RPG. What a great RPG Bethesda's making. People will fucking defend it. Because people don't... Because the main consumer... of video games, just like the main consumer of movies. That's why movies are fucking ruined now. And they're fucking uneducated idiots, or not even uneducated. They're uninspired, uncreative idiots who don't like being fucking pushed and don't like being challenged by games or by ideas. That's why even when you talk about fucking New Vegas to people, they talk about the Legion, which the Legion is literally just like a philosophical heavyweight. That's their entire deal, and they're meant to be flawed. Don't get me wrong. Like, if you look at some of the things that Joshua Sawyer talking about, Caesar's Legion, talking about some of the issues with it's also criticism on fascism, but that's beside the point. Caesar, his entire deal is inspired by the Hegelian dialectic. This idea of thesis and synthesis, thesis and antithesis and synthesis between the two extremes, which, like, that's smarter and more informed than anything Bethesda's ever fucking done. I'm talking even back all the way to Morrowind, even back all the way to fucking Arena. Does that mean it's better because it has philosophy? No, it's not. That doesn't mean it. Does that mean that that there's more, that it's a deeper game? Maybe not. It doesn't mean much. What you need to look at is whether or not this is a consistent thing across the board, and whether or not you can there's actual in-depth characters and motivations, and those are severely lacking in Bethesda games, and they are not lacking whatsoever in fucking Obsidian games and games by other even indie studios. The fact that the AAA market cannot keep up with the indie game market when it comes to unique in-depth creative experiences shows just how fucking shitty the entertainment industry is now. Every fucking movie I've seen in the last I guess the last movie I actually enjoyed that I saw the last good new movie that I actually enjoyed was probably I don't want to be like, I don't want to like bullshit, but like the one that stands out to me that I can think of at the top of my head is Hateful Eight. Not to say there haven't been good movies that I've enjoyed since then, but that's the first thing that pops in my head just because I was mentioning it earlier. I have a lot of trouble liking new movies. I have a lot of trouble liking new games. The newest game I like currently, I'd have to check actually. I don't know. I don't play a lot of new games, I've noticed. Yeah, I really don't. Kind of a pointless question. I guess maybe Arma 3 is the newest game I play. Probably, yeah, that seems about right. Where's it going with this? Yeah, like the gaming industry is just the entire entertainment industry is just a shallow mess. You look back at like the golden age of fucking Hollywood with movies like Cleopatra and shit with these grand sets. It wasn't perfect. It was like the acting was usually shabby. Like don't get me wrong, it wasn't good. It was good, but it wasn't like this. It wasn't like this flawless, perfect golden age that I'm saying we need to go back to. But there was spirit to it. There was creativity to it. There was a sense of grandiosity and intrigue to it that's missing. That's been gone for however long, and I don't think it's ever coming back. What else? What else can I talk about? I mean, I don't know. I guess that's about all I have to say on the matter for now. So yeah, this will be the first video I upload to my secondary channel. Just shitting on Bethesda, you know. Yeah. Fuck Bethesda.